Yeah, the Bible definitely has some interesting stuff in it. I think that if we were as hard on the Bible as we are on on fiction books, I think that a lot of the Bible we wouldn't read. It's got seances in it, and people doing things with their sisters and stuff, and murder and all this bad stuff. And I don't think that God got the memo that we wanted things dialed down a bit. I know there's some things that when I read it in the Bible, I'm like, okay. Doesn't think really I'd have this conversation, but okay. Like you guys just finished Leviticus, or if you ran behind, you're finishing Leviticus. And it has in there, quite a bit related to things that happen with people, specifically men, and then things that happen specifically with women. Goes on for quite a bit. And it's like, okay, I'm glad we know all this now. Moving on. So, okay, going to the questions. Only one question per week for a while because I want to keep on with Hebrews. The question was asked, and I want to remind everybody, if you have any Bible questions or anything like that, you can always ask them at any time in that question box on the back table. The question was, in the new heavens and new earth, will we have to get saved again? So my answer is twofold, and I'm sure maybe some of you guys have some really good things to contribute to this. So actually, maybe before I give my answer, maybe I'll open it up. Do you guys have anything to say on this question? The question was, in the new heavens and the new earth, will we have to get saved again? Anybody have anything they want to contribute to this? No? Can I have my Bible back? Okay, so my answer is, I'm just going to keep things short and simple. I feel like if I try to give too elaborate of an answer, it kind of just muddles it down. Twofold. First off, when we die, we're going to have a resurrected body. And the resurrected body is incapable of sin. See, right now you can choose to sin or not, right? Well, in the new heavens and the new earth, you won't have that choice anymore because your resurrected body will be incapable of sin, which means that when you get to heaven, you won't have to worry about messing up and getting kicked out. How terrible would that be? Well, I've got eternity in heaven, potentially. Asterisk. Well, let's hope you have eternity in heaven. And we know that for a couple things, but I'm just going to keep things real simple. We're not going to go real in depth. It says that in Revelation, it talks about the way that we're going to be without tears and pain, but that's impossible if sin is there. Sin brings tears and pain. So the very statement that there's not going to be that is a statement against sin. Furthermore, we won't have that sinful nature because we'll have the resurrected body. And Paul talks about this, how it's going to be like taking off and putting on. And then there's that. So there's a couple verses I want to read. If I could have Todd, would you mind looking at Hebrews 9:27? And Melissa, would you mind looking up Revelation 19? Salvation, I think part of this question needs to be clarified because the whole idea of salvation needs to be clarified. Salvation, what does it mean to be saved? Well, to be saved means salvation from the wrath of God for sin. See, because we sin, we were born in sin, the wrath of God is turned against us. Well, in the resurrected body, we're not going to have that, so God's wrath wouldn't be on us, so we wouldn't have to be saved from anything. We don't become like another being. We are still the same being. We're trusting that in the new heavens and new earth, that God will walk us into the resurrection. So once we have taken on the reality of that resurrection, we don't have to look forward in faith. So can you read that, Hebrews 9:27? It is appointed for man once to die, and then the judgment. After the judgment, you don't have to be judged again. There's a great white throne, and that's it. There's not a second great white throne. And it specifically mentions in there that for the people who go to hell, that is the second death. That's it. That's it. So for that same argument holds for people who go to heaven. That's a second. It wouldn't be called second death, but it'd be, going to the next life there. Revelations 19, 7 through 8, Melissa. So it has happened. She has put on a white robe. So that, once again, the idea that's not going to be just taken off. And then Revelation 21:27, Todd, and Matthew 25:23, Melissa. And then I'll read Revelation 21:3-4. It says, Then I heard a loud voice from the throne, Look, God's dwelling is with humanity, and he will live with them. They will be his peoples, and God himself will be with them, and will be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Grief, crying, and pain will be no more, because the previous things have passed away. So that tells us a lot of different things, and once again, we're going to keep this short, but the thing I really want you to focus on is God can't dwell with evil. That's the whole point of Leviticus. So if God is dwelling there, right, and there isn't the sun, because he's there. There isn't a temple because he's there. He's there in the midst. There's nothing separating. He cannot abide with sin. I heard a theologian say it once. Think of it like God is allergic to sin. He can't have that in his presence like that. He can't. So Todd, Revelation 21:27. And to see the final way that that's referenced, their names are in the book of Lamb's Book of Life, implying that's it. See what I mean? And then there was another part there. Read the first part again. Right. Nobody who does what's wrong can be there. So we wouldn't have to get saved because we wouldn't. See what I mean? We wouldn't have done anything shameful. So Melissa, Matthew 25:23. Another translation says, enter in. But this translation, the same idea. Come and share. So he's not like going to give it to you and then take it back. That would be pretty jacked up. Especially when the whole Bible kind of hinges on the concept of salvation being a final thing. I just don't really see any biblical basis at all for the idea of God taking salvation away for those who remain faithful. In fact, the very opposite. He usually says things along the lines of, for those who stay faithful till the end. And so, anyways, anybody want to contribute anything else to that question before we move on? Or no? Okay.